What's going on, everybody? It's your boy PTK Blam back in the building with another episode of the Shop Podcast. We're bringing to you another phenomenal show live here, another awesome Saturday. We appreciate you guys hanging out. Shout out to everybody in chat. Remember, run those likes up. Appreciate you guys. Continue support every single week. You guys are showing up, showing out. Excuse me. And we're always bringing new guests on the show, man. So shout out to everybody watching right now. Click the link below. Appreciate you guys. Make sure you guys retweet the link as well on Twitter. Let everybody know the Shop Podcast is live, man. We got a lot to unpack. It's been a crazy week. We got even crazier times ahead of us, man. Let everybody know we're live, man. But we're gonna get into it. But as you guys can see, just to get started here, Fuzz might be running a little bit late. I believe he's currently on FSP. Shout out, Mav. So Fuzz will probably fall in a bit late, but when he falls in, you guys will see him pop up here. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started, man. We'll start with our guest, another first-time guest, man. Please give him a warm shop welcome, Mr. Sensei himself, man. Appreciate you, brother. Let everybody know where they can find you at. We appreciate you hanging out here on the show. But tell the people where they can find you and what you got going on.
I appreciate that intro. Like I said before we went live, man, I said you must want your show to crash to invite me over here, man. But no, my name is Sensei's Thoughts. People know me over Twitter at Sensei Kills. I tweet a lot. I'm very active on that, very reactive. But I'm an Xbox centric podcast as well. Every Sundays at tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern time, I do a podcast with my co-host Logic. And that's what we do. I also have other content on my channel if you guys want to check that out. I started something brand new where I spotlight the community, the people we follow on Twitter, the people that content create, big or small, don't matter. I currently do that, and it premieres every Friday. I interview somebody every week and premiere it on Fridays. That's where you can find me at.
Awesome. Well, we greatly appreciate you hanging out here. Please, if you guys are fans of the show, fans of the Shop Podcast, please go spread the love, man. We definitely want to show some support as well. We love what you're doing with the community, Sensei, man. We're super big on community and just everybody coming up together and like helping the next podcast out or next talented individual that wants to put out content. So it's right up our alley, bro. Once again, welcome. Kick your feet up. You're in the Shop Podcast live, man. Appreciate you hanging out with us, man. So let me go ahead and get to my compadres, man. What's going on, Pong Harvey? How you been, brother?
Been great, man. What a week. Hey, first of all, Sensei, I told you in the back room, but fantastic to finally be on a show with you. Great to have you here, man. Love your thoughts on Twitter. Caught your show a couple times. Just awesome dude. Glad to have you here, man. I love your perspective on things. So this is going to be a fun show. But, man, what a busy week. Fellas, what a busy week, getting crazy, smoke signals, backtracking, Xbox shuttering the doors and closing down to the cheers of ponies everywhere. Mm-hmm. Look, man, it was a weird week, but a lot of good stuff came out of it. We got a lot to talk about, and Battlefield is exactly what I thought it would be, which is fantastic as well. So I am a happy camper right now.
Well, I'm glad you could peel yourself away from that to hang out with us a little bit. So thank you for showing up today, man. But we appreciate you, man. You guys know where to find Pong. If not, he's going to tell you at some point where to find him. So don't worry.
Yeah, right.
Just stick around long enough. You'll know exactly where to find Pong. Well, we appreciate you here, brother, every single week. Bringing the energy. I call him Mr. Energizer Bunny. Appreciate it, man, every single week, brother. So let's go ahead and throw this over to you, Centurion. How you doing, brother? How's your week going? Tell the people what's been cooking up with you.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you to the guest for being here, man. Just from the pre-chat, I definitely got to take a deeper dive into your content. You sound like an absolute awesome individual. Love your energy, love your message. But man, there is some great games actually coming out. I'm waiting for my RIP file for Forza to download because I can't afford the game. I'm joking. I'm only joking. There has been so much crap going around because apparently piracy is the thing nowadays. That's interesting. Apparently, when you do something stupid, I guess the best thing to do is to go on the internet and tell everybody about it. It seems that's what's turning into. But other than that, I mean, I'll be absolutely honest. I have yet to fire the game up. I need to really check out the new crack known as Forza 5. I'm just kind of still mowing around in Far Cry 6 because right when I thought I was getting to the end of the game, I mean, that game got even deeper. So that's pretty much my gaming that I've been able to get in. But other than that, I'm doing great. How about you guys?
Man, appreciate you being here, man. Always awesome to see you once again. You guys know where to go find Centurion as well. Got the YouTube channel popping, so go check out the content. All of that stuff is down in the description below. I appreciate you guys. And once again, if you do want to support in another way, you guys can always join and be a member here on the Shop Podcast and on the PTK Blam channel, man, as a Shop Podcast patron. So appreciate you guys every single week. I think you back, Fuzz?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay.
Sorry about that,
right.
guys.
No, you good, brother. Want to make sure you was here, man.
Holding up the whole show, big
didn't
Mr.
wanna-
Big Deal,
Hey,
Fuzzy
look.
Belvedere,
Fuzz got
Mr.
things to do.
Retired. Now he's everywhere except for where he's supposed to be on time. No, that's good.
Nah, I
Sorry,
appreciate
guys.
you, man. No, you good, Fuzz. I appreciate it. Do not let Pong give you that mess, all right? Don't do it. We're not doing it this week. Nah, we appreciate you, man. But
We haven't got to the poll of the week yet. Come on,
man. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, it's like Pog was saying earlier, it's been a fantastic or awesome week of news and just so much stuff going on. And man, everybody knows, you can probably tell by my gamer pick, I'm a big Forza fan. It's old school, like racing goggles and helmet and stuff. But man, Forza Horizon 5 happened this past week, and that's all I'm gonna say for right now, because I'll be up here too long talking about stuff. But yeah, I'm glad we have a special guest on here. Sensei, nice to meet you. I do apologize for the lateness, so I'm not gonna hold up the show any longer. Let's get into the poll of the week.
And you guys know what we do every week. Appreciate you guys hanging out, man. Let me give a couple quick shout outs. Got Mav, OCD Gamer, Shown 2, Mod of the Year. What's up, Tony Grasso, man? Subscribe if you have not already, if you're new here. Crazy Louie, shout out, man. Appreciate everybody hanging out here. Chris Jones, everybody hanging out, man. Love you guys so much, man. Run those likes up. What's up, Matt? How you doing? Falling in as well. But let's go ahead and dive in, man. You know how we start the show, man. Poll of the week every single week. Follow me on Twitter every Monday. I put the poll up, then we talk about it here every Saturday on the Shop Podcast, man. So poll of the week this week was 2021 has been a banner year for gaming, and next year looks even better. If you can if you could only buy and play one game next year, what would it be? So I had only 4 options. I knew I was going to get killed, honestly, because there's too many games coming out next year. Something was going to have to get left out. I already knew people were going to be like, hey, you left this and that out. So I tried to do best as I could, but I knew it was a lose-lose situation either way. But the options are Starfield, God of War Ragnarok, Elden Ring, and Zelda Breath of the Wild 2. Starfield actually ran away. 57% of the poll says Starfield. And then God of War Ragnarok was second with 24%, Elden Ring third, Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 was fourth. So we're going to start with our guest here. Sensei, out of that list, maybe your option wasn't on the list. Which one are you buying if you could only buy one next year?
Actually, the option is on that list. I'm probably going to be trail out of a few people on this panel, but God of War, Ragnarok, looking forward to it.
Okay.
That's the one I'm looking forward to, because that story and where it's going, and the fact that they mentioned it was going to end it, they were not going to stretch it out until the third game. I'm excited about that. So God of War for me, Ragnarok would be the top one I'm anticipating. I'm getting, if I can get one game, that'd be it right there.
For sure. Okay. Nothing wrong with that. I'm a big God of War stan. Admittedly, always have been. Go check my records. I got receipts, I promise you. But either way, no, I'm excited for God of War as well. I mean, I think everybody here on the panel, I don't think any of us here are God of War haters at all. So I'm a big fan of the game, big fan. I want to see where the direction of the game is going, how they wrap this up with Thor and just the whole Norse and just everything going on with Kratos and his son now getting older and their relationship and seeing how that's going to grow. Going to be very, very interesting to see next year. I'm going to actually go ahead and go next. I actually picked Starfield, and I think that's pretty obvious for me. You know what the funny thing is? I'm not the biggest Western RPG fan, but just something about Starfield and this being this game that they've been sitting on for 20 years wanting to make just intrigues me. And I feel like this is a game that he put all his might, all into essentially. And I just want to see what it comes out to, man. So I'm really interested in all of these games, but if I had to pick one next year, Starfield for sure. But let's go ahead and throw this over to you, Pong, Harvey. Out of those, I don't even know why I'm asking you this question. It's ridiculous. We can just skip you. I don't even know why I even brought this up.
This is the easiest poll of the week yet, brother. You had one answer and then 3 wrong answers, so you just had one right one in there.
See,
and this was like perfect.
Sensei.
This was perfect. Oh man,
I see that. I see.
Yeah, Sensei. Look, when God gives us a game,
Oh,
everything else goes away. And so praise be his name. God Howard is delivering one of his babies next year. And so, of course, it's Starfield, of course. Again, no slight against the other options at all. But come on, Starfield, of course. End of story. Saw the interviews this week. If you tuned into the concert that they did for Skyrim's 10th anniversary, we all got a special treat at the end. They played some of the Starfield music, about 5 minutes of it. And oh my God, brought tears to my eyes. What they are creating here is going to be special. We just celebrated Skyrim's 10th anniversary. They just released another version of Skyrim. Todd does not miss when he makes games. He's put his name on some games that have missed, but when he's involved and his A team's involved, they don't miss. In fact, most of them have become some of the most beloved games of all time. And this is going to be the next one. He's now going to have his trifecta of RPGs, which he wrote down nearly 25 years ago. He wanted a high fantasy. He wanted a
space.
He wanted he wanted a post-apocalyptic RPG, and he wanted a sci-fi RPG. He's got the other two already in Fallout and Elder Scrolls. Now he's finally, because the tech is ready, to make the third in that. And so this is going to be special. I have no doubt about it. Starfield's the only thing I need. So I've got my vacation time in. I am ready. 11/11/22 can't come soon enough. And I will be there. So let's go. Like I said, easiest question ever, PTK. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was specifically for you since I failed horribly the previous 5 weeks.
Do you know what would have happened had you left Starfield off that list?
Oh man, I'd have got destroyed. You probably wouldn't have showed up this week. Chad, you already know what would have happened. No Pong this week. Missed the whole show.
He would have showed up to Arizona to have some questions.
I might have been on a flight. You're right.
Yeah, we'd have been doing a double podcast for sure. But either way, no, that was a layup for sure. I agree with you, Pong. I mean, at the end of the day, I do agree. Just the intrigue around the game, the fact that so much care, and this is his magnum opus, right? Like when we say that this is his masterpiece, his Rembrandt, so to speak. Mm-hmm. I'm 100% with you on that. Some people, are like, hey, let's probably, let's take a seat, let's take a little break. No, hell no, we're not doing that. It's all gas, no breaks. We don't do that around here, right? But anyway, let's go ahead and throw this over to you, Fuzz. Get your opinion. Out of those options, which one would you choose? If not, maybe you had one that wasn't part of those options.
Yeah. All right. So I picked Starfield because I'm definitely intrigued by it. With it being a new IP, definitely looking forward to see what Todd Howard has in store for us, especially being a big sci-fi fan. But I got to call an audible. You know, Forza was just released. Forza Horizon. We got possibly another Forza coming out next year, and we got Gran Turismo. So whichever one hits first, whether it be Motorsport 8 or just Forza Motorsport or Gran Turismo 7, that's the game I choose for if I got a rest of the year to play. Yeah. Me being the car fan I am, yeah, give me either one of those, and I'll be happy. The rest, they don't have to disappear, but they got to get out of my face. They just give me Gran Turismo or Forza Motorsport. Either one I'm good with. I'm leaning more towards Motorsport because it's going to be, at least as we know right now, next gen only. A little bit of a miss as far as the cross gen, but it's not a big miss. It's just one of those things where I would have liked to see what they can do as far as car count on or per race, or if they expanded a little bit more as far as like multi-class races where you got like prototypes, GT cars, and your standard like GT2s and stuff. But either one of those racing games, that's what I'll take for the remainder of the year.
Okay. No, come on now. I don't even, once again, something had to miss the list. A lot of people killed me for not having Horizon on there. There was a few other games people killed me. Left a couple comments about, but like I said, I only get 4 options, so I do apologize. But I already knew where you were going, Fuzz. Once again, this is a rhetorical question for you and Pong. What's up?
Can I throw?
Go ahead.
I'll review the play on the field. I really do.
You're throwing. Okay,
I'll take back God Ragnarok, and I'm going Starfield. I'll just go with that. After further review, that was a stupid thing to say. So here we're gonna go Starfield.
Wait, Pong, did you send a check
look,
that fast?
look at my influence.
Pong, did
Look
you
at
send
this.
a
Look at this.
Pong, send a cash app.
Hey, what
your
color are the
notification
dudes
go
in
on.
masks wearing? Because I know
Yeah,
Pong sent them
exactly. It's
over.
like
What the hell?
You hear
Is
that,
he-
chat? You hear that? That's what I'm talking about.
This is
is
ridiculous.
he outside the window?
Pong pulled up. That was quick. He sent the cash app quick. Damn, Pong. That Jesus Christ. Tell me, please teach me the ways. How do you do that?
Military truck pulls up outside. Bunch of dudes in fatigue start surrounding the house.
Dude, it's ridiculous. But either way, no, I think there's really no wrong answers if we're being 100% honest. But
There is.
go ahead.
There's 3 wrong ones.
Oh, here we go. I'm not. You're excluded from this conversation.
Okay. All right. I'm muting.
Yeah. Thank you. We'll. You're on timeout. But either way, go ahead, Centurion. I want to make sure we get your opinion as well, man. Out of those options, maybe your choice wasn't on the list, but which one would you choose?
I'm with Pong, definitely in the 3 wrong answers category there, because Starfield for sure. I mean, how can you not want to play more of what Todd Howard offers us? I put a tweet out this week that says the first time I ever saw Todd Howard come out on stage and scream, "Are you ready for some effing games?" I had to just know who this person was, and since that day, I have consumed so much Bethesda stuff, it's unreal. I want to say Bethesda was for sure like my publisher, developer, whatever you want to call them. Bethesda was my go-to gaming company last gen, and it seems to be that they're probably going to be in that same group this gen. I mean, everything that Todd does is honestly really amazing. I'm even looking forward to what he's going to do with Indiana Jones. So, dude, for me, it's Starfield all the way. What more could you want? I mean, a sci-fi RPG fantasy that's actually going to take place in pretty much our relatively own solar system. Everybody has always, for most sci-fis, a lot of people just try to go off the wall and put it someplace we don't even know about. But the fact that they're wanting to actually tackle the way the solar system looks and functions right here in our own little part of the universe, and they're going to try to build off that, I'm going to be totally wanting to play this game. I mean, in Mass Effect, they didn't really touch on our solar system very much. I mean, there's the occasional visit to the moon or sometimes a visit to Earth, but there was no big exploration of our part of the galaxy. They was just like, yeah, over there's the Sol system, and we're just going to have most of the game take place over here. Dude, I mean, I could go on all day, just like Pong, about Todd Howard, but he's Todd Howard. What else do you need?
No, absolutely. I 100% agree. I think we're all on the same page here. I mean, there's really no wrong options if we're being 100% honest. I mean, all of that list, is fantastic. If you're waiting on, once again, chat, let us know if your option wasn't on the list. Let us know in chat right now. This question is for you as well, man. So we're going to move on to the next topic, man. Nice warm up, man. Just first jogging around the track. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Once again, hit the like button if you have not already. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us today, man. So let's move right on to the next topic, man. So we're talking a little bit of EA, and we're gonna go ahead and give proper credit on this one. This was actually shout out to you, Fuzz. You threw me this question. Something that I've kind of noticed, something that we've noticed. Me and Fuzz actually have talked about this a little bit, and I think we've talked about it on the show. Now, EA has been making changes, some fundamental changes, not just regular changes. They've come out and said we're gonna start doing business differently. We're gonna start handling our studios differently. And all of us got excited. We all got excited. What's his name from Titanfall? Vince Capella. He's kind of taken over there. He's kind of steered the ship in the right direction as far as releases and how they handle business. Things are looking up. But then we start to see some of the same old EA mistakes. And I want to talk about something that I've noticed, and I'll let you go first on this, Sensei. And the thing is, why is EA waiting for other people to make the games that we've always wanted them to make? So, and the things I'm specifically talking about are Callisto Protocol and this ESBC boxing, right? So as soon as we got Callisto Protocol, which happened to be the same devs that actually made Dead Space, all of a sudden they announced a Dead Space remake of some sort. ESBC boxing starts signing on all of these notable boxers. All of a sudden there's rumors about Fight Night. We've been asking for these games for a long time from EA. So where you at on this? Let us know, chat. Where you guys at on this? Well, we're going to start with you, Sensei. You think this is intentional? Does EA need that Did they need that fire lit under them, or is this like, are we just gauging? We're gonna let these other companies gauge interest, and then we're gonna jump on it.
I'll even open up the net a little bit on that. I'll widen the scope a little bit. Just not just focused on are they waiting for somebody else to do a game, but it's also EA has been stagnant for quite some time, right? They've been throwing out. They used to have Fight Night, which was an amazing game at one point. Then that went stagnant. Madden, we all know that's every year the same thing. We call it copy paste. Essentially, it is. The thing is that they at the end of the day, I hate to say this, but they're more of a business than they are a gaming company. They want to bring out they do want to bring out games, but only if it obviously makes them money. And in the way of they see this one boxing game came out, now they want to make they're thinking, ooh, Fight Night again. FIFA came at them, right? FIFA was like, if you want to continue carrying on a license, you got to pay up. Yeah, they didn't like that too much. So now they're finding now that they have that fire lit up, now that they're being told by bigger bullies in the industry, you got to change your game. Is now they're going, they're looking at going, shit, we gotta figure something out here, and get a whole different perspective and get games out there. But rather than creating their own thing and be innovative and start doing different things, which they're capable of doing, they got the money to do so, they can take a risk. However, what they're doing is now they're going into their bags and bringing out Dragon Age. Fight Night, we have that IP. Let's bring another Fight Night. Like they're doing that kind of move rather than just going forward innovating. You had that space. You had a whole studio called Visceral Gaming. You let them. You closed it down. Like they had all the right tools years ago that they could have continued and grown upon, but they didn't, because for a very long time they were the Fonzies of the group. You know what I mean? And I just dated myself doing that. But the Fonz of the group, they were the ones that led the pack. But they seen, success with Fortnite. They seen success with Warzone. They seeing all these. Now Ubisoft is getting in the game. So now they're going, we can't play catch up. What do we do? Because they have not been working nothing original. Now they're reaching into their bags of good old toys and just bringing them out and rehashing them and rebranding them and doing all that kind of stuff. EA, it's a shame because EA, I told you guys backstage, I used to work for EA a long time ago. And back then we had so many talented people working with ideas that were being heard and being pitched to the executives as far as the game goes. I still have friends in those development in that field working for EA that tells me that those things, they don't even have a board for ideas opened to anybody anymore. Before it was a wide open thing where anybody could just throw ideas at these devs and go, how about this and how about that? And everybody was invited to that boardroom, behind the scenes there. But they tell me now that doesn't even exist no more. You have a job, do your job, go home. That's it. Well, you're already home because they're working from home, but it's that. So they're stagnant right now with ideas. They just reached into the old bag of tricks.
Yeah, no, it's the funny thing about this, and I always try and put the right perspective because I never want to dogpile on one company particularly. EA is very, very easy. We could do a whole show about EA.
Definitely.
Week, to be honest with you, if we being real. But either way, I think it's just odd considering the way that they came out and said how they're going to be handling development going forward. They have this new idea, there's new fire. They saw some success. Jedi Fallen Order. Like I said, Vince Zampella, I mean, Respawn's holding up EA. You know what I'm saying? Like Respawn is doing everything they could possibly do right now. And they're Midas touch. Everything that they touch is gold at this particular point in time. So Vince is the man over there. But I'm gonna actually go ahead and throw this over to you, Pong, because I know we've talked about this in great length in previous shows as well. And just I kind of want to get your opinion on this as well about, these are games that we wanted. I mean, that I don't know how well, I know Fight Night for sure. This is something that we've asked about. And I know, and being fair, is difficult for boxing games because boxers are like independent contractors. There's no like one committee to say, okay, let's get the license from this one committee and make this game. You'd have to literally go to every single boxer and like individually negotiate like terms to try and get them in a game. So I know that's hard to do, but the effort hadn't seemed to have been there. But go ahead, Pong. I don't want to take too much time here. Where are you at on that?
No, that's okay. Great point, Sensei. Look, I think from EA's perspective, and this might shock people, but I think that a lot of this is coincidence. I think a lot of this is just a coincidence of timing. A lot of these franchises have been shelved, excuse me, for so long that it was time for them to come back. And I think now that EA's eyes have been opened, due obviously large in part to Zampella and his team, and they kind of changed their entire philosophy. I think they probably had this stuff in the works to bring it back. And it just so happened that other people, beat them to the punch and got the word out, ahead of time that they had other games. I mean, obviously, again, the Dead Space team that's doing the Callisto project, for sure, that's been worked on for a long time. So they were ready to announce that. That makes sense. They are the team that brought us Dead Space, and they want to go back to a similar type universe. So that makes totally sense. As far as the boxing goes, look, that call for Fight Night has been out there for a long time. And I think once EA had this internal change of heart and opened up their ears to what was going on, that's why we've got Mass Effect the way we did. That's why we're getting a new Mass Effect that seems to be leaning heavily on the original trilogy, even though I know there's some word that it is going to also include the one to not be named. But at the end of the day, I think they are finally listening to the community, and I think they had this stuff in the works, and these other people just jumped ahead of them. They were already in process and kind of got it worked out. So now EA, it looks this way that they're just going, oh, okay, you guys are going to do that? Well, guess what? We're just going to bring back the original now. And again, that could be absolutely the case. Obviously, EA has, shown themselves for who they are in the past. And it would, if word came out that was exactly what happened, I wouldn't go, oh my God, I'm so shocked. No, I wouldn't say that. I just think at this time around, this is just pure coincidence. But again, at the end of the day, who cares? Whatever the reason is, we as gamers are winning right at the end, because not only are we going to get the classic franchises back, and hopefully EA does them, the way that we want them done. By the looks of what we saw out of Dead Space, they're doing it right. We don't know what Fight Night's going to look like. It's supposedly kind of on a timeout right now, on a hold pattern while they work on some other things. But if they do both of those right, who cares? And then on top of it, we've got two other studios doing games in the same mold that are going to give us different experiences. And so now you got competition. So guess what? EA now knows they have competition, so they're going to actually have to strive to make their games even better. And we saw that in the past. When they have competition, EA does do the right thing. When they don't have competition, this is when we get mad, right? This is when we get FIFA. This is when we get this garbage, right? So this cut and paste stuff. But when they do need to go out and show and prove, look, they're filled with talent over at EA.
Oh,
they've been doing this for years. Yeah, they've lost a lot of talent. They've squandered a lot of talent. They've made a ton of mistakes. They've done a lot of bad things. But at the end of the day, underneath that, inside EA, there is a big pool of talent. And so when they know they're going to have to come with their A game, guess what? They're going to let their teams do what's necessary, give them the resources and time to make it an A effort, because if not, these other studios, these smaller studios, are going to show them up and people aren't going to buy EA. So I think it's great. We as gamers win. I think it was about time that these came back, so I'm happy to hear about it. I love Fight Night. I never got into UFC like everybody else did. I'm an old school cat. I liked boxing back in the day. Obviously, boxing has taken a huge dip as far as popularity goes over the years. But, I was back during some of the not prime, because prime was a little bit before my time, but I was definitely in it when, heavyweight division was still a big deal, pay-per-view all the time, all the Tyson years, all that kind of stuff. So for me, I can't wait to get a new Fight Night in my hands, and I can't wait to see what they do with Dead Space, because I love Dead Space. It's one of the handful of horror games that I can play because it's more psychological, and you give me all those awesome weapons and I can cut off limbs. I'm all down for that. So I can't wait to see what they do with that. And then, like I said, these smaller teams, hey, bring it on. Bring it on. More choice. I can't, that's going to be exciting to see what they come out with and their spin on both of these franchises and what they can do. That's where I'm at with it. I'm all happy about this. This is good stuff.
I love it. No, I 100% agree. I mean, like you said, at the end of the day, Pong, I think the key thing here, and we always preach this on the Shop podcast, is you got options, people. You got options, and it's always good to see these games being made, however they're being made, and whatever process it takes to get them made. We just glad to see that it's on the docket. They got it on the up there on the board, and they're working on something. So it's glad to see that ultimately at the end of the day, because I'm excited. I'm really excited, especially about a boxing game. I'm with you, Pong. I'm a big boxing purist. I still am.
Yeah.
And I love to have a good boxing game, and it's about time. They've satiated. I need that thirst quenched for a good boxing game. So let's go ahead and throw this over to you, Centurion. Get your opinion about just where you at on EA and their kind of strategy going forward with the games that they pick to make and how they release them.
Well, I have a little bit of a mixed bag of opinions when it comes to EA. I think it's ironic that they own BioWare. Years and years ago, I accused EA of being the reapers of the gaming development industry. They just go in and take over developers and strip mine them of anything that's worth anything and leaving them an empty shell, just like the Reapers did in Mass Effect. They have ended some really, really good single player developing companies. I mean, Visceral Games was definitely mentioned there. The EA has closed down their fair share of companies. And I still remember when one of the executives over at EA said that the single player narrative of gaming isn't really working anymore, and they wanted to go all in on these like service games. And that's when I kind of started putting EA to the side. Especially I went through the Star Wars. I actually enjoyed Star Wars Battlefront, and then Battlefront 2 came out, and it was a microtransaction mess. And that was where I kind of was like, all right, EA is kind of going to have to be put on the back burner for now. They've definitely righted that whole issue. At least DICE did. They made Star Wars Battlefront 2 a much better game than what it was when it first came out, especially with the co-op mode and getting rid of all the microtransactions that were completely forced in there. And then Vince Zampella came out with Jedi Fallen Order, and that's where you kind of started seeing the shift for EA to all of a sudden be like, well, maybe we shouldn't have went all in on this whole games as a service thing. And I have high hopes for them. I really do. I want the new Mass Effect game to do well. I want the new Dragon Age game to do well. I want honestly, all the games that they're working on to do well, but my focus for them is the single player driven narrative games, because I've never been a big fan of EA sports games. Now, I'm going to definitely bring up the whole Fight Night thing though. I have actually considered picking up the Fight Night for the Xbox 360 because that is one game that has interested me. I see a lot of people that I follow playing this game, either on their YouTube channels or their Twitch channels or on Twitter. They'll put clips up of them fighting. I will definitely say Fight Night has my eye, the old one and this one now. But it is interesting that all of a sudden they're wanting to do this. I'm hoping that Pong is absolutely right. This is just completely coincidental. I always want to give somebody the benefit of the doubt. But it is very interesting that obviously Callisto Protocol was announced. Now all of a sudden we've got the Dead Space remake. Now a different boxing game was announced. Now we got Fight Night supposedly starting to come back into rumblings. I don't really know though if EA could be considered of just trying to play catch up. Maybe that's just finally starting for them to sink in on past mistakes and that they're wanting to correct these mistakes. They have some really good IP under their belt. And also, if they were just to be able to put a little bit more quality and shine into the IPs they're already doing. I don't play the Madden games, but when I see the guys I follow put screen captures of elements from other Madden games that made it into a Madden game of the future, and they didn't even try to change some of the banners, really. It was just, oops, we forgot to clean that one up. I just want to see a little bit more come out of EA when it comes to flexibility of allowing their developers to really, really kind of have a little bit more freedoms, kind of like we see on the Xbox side. Xbox is a money-making machine, but they also really believe in flexibility, diversity, and just allowing developers to be passionate about what they're developing. And when you kind of pigeonhole somebody into wanting what they, hey, create this, don't create that, you're kind of limiting the developer's ability to kind of craft really great new things. And it's just a side of EA that I've never agreed with.
No, I agree. I mean, EA is funny, and I know this almost is coming off as like an EA bash fest, but they have made some tangible changes over the years, and you can definitely see the way they handle things. I said it earlier. Shout out, someone said it also in the chat that Respawn has come in and been a huge influence on EA, and
let's give EA for credit for something else real quick. They really know how to make a proper trilogy compared to others right now.
Yes.
No, I mean, it is what it is at the end of the day. I do have to give them their credit for something. I know this is coming off as almost like an EA bash fest, and I really didn't want it to be, but I just wanted to highlight some of the changes that they have been making, some of the things that they've been doing, some of the just the dev behavior that I've been seeing regarding EA, and just the coincidence.
Whatever it was, PTK, that woke them up, whether it be Disney telling them, hey, do better, or it was, I don't know, FIFA telling them, hey, you need a license. You got Respawn. I'm gonna echo that. You got Respawn that came in. Ever since Respawn came in, that's top quality developers right there. They got on their team, and that culture has been changing. At the end of the day, again, what Pong said, as gamers, we're gonna have choices and selections, and that's a win for all of us.
Oh, absolutely. I 100% agree with that. So let's go ahead and throw this over to Fuzz. Let's get your opinion on this, Fuzz. We've talked about this in length in party chat, just kind of, and once again, I'm with Pong. There's 100% chance that this could just be a coincidence. Like, oh my God, this is all happening at one time. It feels like that's like, what are the odds of that, right? Especially since these games have been asked for, Fight Night for forever, almost a decade now, and then the other game, Dead Space for just as long as well. So go ahead, Fuzz.
Well, I'm kind of the cynic, and I forgot all about like what Sensei had brought up as far as like with the FIFA saying, pay up or you lose your license type of thing, and that kind of being the kick in the pants to kind of get them looking at other avenues of games that they can profit off of and things along those lines. Like I originally probably took this more of the side eye of like not EA being the bully, but it's like doing almost like a Ubisoft move. And as much as I like Ubisoft, or at least old Ubisoft, it seems like they're kind of like, what's everybody else doing? Hey, that looks like it's making money. Let's try that. And it almost, maybe it's coincidence, maybe it's just pure timing, but it just seems awfully odd. Like the Callisto Protocol was probably one of those games that was shown at E3 that got a lot of eyes on it. And then not even a week or two later, it seems like, oh, we're going to do Dead Space. It's early development. And then like a month later, here's some behind the scenes stuff of this early. It's like y'all started this yesterday. What are you doing? Kind of thing. So I it's not the pick on EA, but it just seemed like that Callisto Protocol versus Dead Space thing. After so many people are like, I would really love for them to do a back compat of Dead Space, and then they do the Dead Space back compat. It's like they should really make a new one, based more so of like the first one or a reboot. And it's like this went on for like 3 or 4 years. It was like, I understand games take a while before you can even get to the point where you can announce them, but it's like 3 or 4 solid years of people like, here's my money, take it, make the game. Nothing, not a peep, not a word, nothing. And then Callisto Protocol comes out. It's like, we could do that. We could definitely do that. And that's probably not how it happens, but just from optics standpoint, that's how it seems. And I joked about this with PTK on chats for like a while, because we had all talked about the whole, the boxing thing where it's like, like you said, a lot of the boxers are like individual contractors, so you got to negotiate with each one if they're going to be in the game, and each one's going to want a big payday for that. Yeah. So it makes it hard to make a game. But I was like, they could just do a create your own character one, like they've done in the past with some of the other games, and just make it so that way, if you want to eventually be in the game, like there's going to be boxers out there who'll be like, I don't need $10 million to be in the game. Or whatever the case is, but they're going to want to see their likeness in the game. So, maybe it comes later as DLC or something. So I've always wondered why they couldn't make the Fight Night thing happen. It just seemed odd to me. As popular as that, it fell off towards the end a little, but I think it would do so much better than UFC, and it's not to knock UFC because UFC is popular as far as from pay-per-view standpoint, but I don't think it's even, although from a heavyweight standpoint, like Pong was saying earlier on with the heavyweights, I think that would trump anything UFC could possibly ever put together. But I think you're now looking at more of like your middleweight and lightweight and stuff like that. Those categories are more of the forefront as far as when it comes to the popularity of boxing currently type of thing. So it's not a knock to UFC. I really wish they had always kept the Fight Night deal, but it a lot of people were saying, oh well, maybe UFC would be in the focus, that's why they can't do a Fight Night. I just always wondered why. And then we saw ESBC come out, and I'm like, I bet you I didn't say I bet you any amount of money, but I was like, watch EA do Fight Night now. Watch them do it. It was like almost like the writing's on the wall. Like, people have been asking for years for Fight Night. Here's somebody that's going to go out there, small team, and get these licenses, which is a hard thing to do. And they're going to make this game, and it's going to take them a while, and they're going to show it, and people are going to be, oh, that's awesome, let's go out and get it. And then watch EA swoop in like before that game comes out at an E3 and blow everybody's mind and make them forget all about ESBC. I feel sorry for those devs in that regard. And that's the only reason why it's not that I have an issue with it, but it's like the partial complaint I have. Like, yes, Pong is right. We're going to win as gamers because we're going to get, both visions of each of those games. But the drawback is EA is that kind of, company where, or at least in their past actions, where they're going to come in, they're going to woo all the fans, make them remember, Fight Night, and make them completely forget about ESBC. And ESBC will be one of those things where it's like, you'll see it on PS Plus or on Game Pass, not even a month after it's out, because nobody's playing it at this time because everybody's waiting for Fight Night. It's just going to completely obliterate any buzz about that game. And that's the only issue I have. Although, be it that Fight Night is apparently on pause, but it just seemed like I kind of knew this was coming. I probably should have posted as like a pin tweet. Watch EA come out with Fight Night because of ESBC, and here it is. Now all we need now, with that being said, somebody make a robot movement or like a mechanized game, almost like Titanfall, so they can make another Titanfall. That's all I'm asking. Because EA is now showing the blueprint. If somebody makes a robot game like Echo Mecha, whenever that comes out, if we see anything about Titanfall shortly after, it's somebody looking at what's trending on Twitter or trending somewhere in some metric, as opposed to them really either listening to their current dev teams or listening to the fans. It'll be more so like the bean counters looking at, oh, this is trending now, so let's do this type of thing. But that's me being an outsider looking in, just kind of with I guess shaded vision, just because of their past actions. And one other side note, they also bought what was that, Codemasters.
Yeah.
And there was a disagreement with one of the studios, the Simply Mad Studios, that became part of Codemasters. If we don't see any racing game from them soon that kind of mimics a Horizon, slash what do you call them, like Need for Speed game soon, I'm believing that there's still some old guard at EA that have old grudges still lurking about. But that's a whole nother topic.
All right. Well, no, listen, this is always a touchy subject, man, talking about EA, because there's so much like negative connotations for EA, but I do want to make sure we give them proper credit and we make sure we put things in proper context. So it's just something that we've noted over this last few months, as far as like the way they've been moving, the way they're planning on putting out these games, and the games that they're planning on putting out seem to be more reactionary as far as, okay, let's do this now that there's other games, doing something that our fans have been asking for. But let's go ahead and move on to something else that I'm really, really excited to talk about. Once again, let me go ahead and give a couple quick shout outs. Retro Nerd, Tony Grasso, OCD Gamer, Chris Jones in the chat. Appreciate you guys. Showing Sue in there as well. Once again, hit the like button. Appreciate you guys, man. But we're talking about the Gunk, and it's crazy because these smaller games have been winning this year. This year has been all about the small dev. this has been the year of the small dev if I've not ever seen one. Like a lot of the games that are Game of the Year nominees are not from large teams, and this could be another game. The Gunk, the game is the game I'm talking about, could be another game that we look at and be this gem that's in Game Pass. And I'm really excited about the game. I just want to get you guys quick opinions on it. We'll start with you, Sensei. One, have you saw the trailers or things about as far as what a little bit of gameplay we've seen, but where you add on it is something that looks like you're going to play?
Listen, when it comes to the Gunk, I've been keeping an eye on this for quite some time, man. And I was that guy that was asking for it at E3. I was asking for it at the other shows.
Yeah,
at
you sound like
Gamescom.
Fuzzy. Fuzzy's been saying that forever.
Give me something on this game, because we still had the placeholder that said coming out still this year. That, and I believe what was the other one? Scorn. Those are the two titles that were supposed to. They still had a placeholder for December. And I'm going, when are we going to get something on the Gunk? And then I lost kind of hope towards the end before they showed it off, because they mentioned Scorn was delayed. Now I'm going, oh no. How about the Gunk? Because I've been keeping an eye on this, and like you said, the indie development world, especially this generation, swinging.
It's been on fire.
I mean, you got before Microsoft bought the studio, you got your Psychonauts 2, you got your Biomutants. Like, I'm like, if it wasn't for all these, like Game Pass as well. Shout out to Game Pass, has introduced me to a lot of the indie side of things. But when it comes to the Gunk, then I see that trailer. I must have watched it, like, as small as that trailer was, 15 times, maybe 20. Like, just to get whatever I can out of it and break that down, completely break it down. And I'm like, oh my God, I just can't wait for this game. It screams explore. It screams look at the world, play me. Like that's where I'm at with that. I'm so excited for the Gunk. The fact that they put a date on it, now I know I can play this. And it's Xbox, obviously. It's going to be on Xbox, Game Pass, obviously. So I'm going, yes, I can play this. Finally, they put a date on it. It probably won't get delayed anymore because we're already November 13th. But whatever they did, whatever took place that kind of waited for now to introduce this game and say it's coming out, I'm okay with that. They obviously they let it cook and they let it get to where it's at. But these indie games, like this game, like the Gunk, are killing it this generation, man.
Oh, absolutely. I 100% agree. And this is part of that golden age. And you'll hear this later on. Pong is definitely going to mention it. If you're familiar here, you've heard the show. This is what Pong talks about as far as being in that golden age of gaming. But I 100% agree. And this could be another one of those gems, another game that drops in Game Pass and just takes right off. And it looks so charming. And like you said, the game screams exploration. It screams play me. And if I can be completely 100% transparent, I'm loving the representation. We got another black lead character who happens to be a woman. I love that, and I'm it is what it is, and I'm all for everybody getting equal opportunity. But that I see that, and that's awesome. I love seeing that. So
there's nothing more greater. And if you guys haven't experienced this, chat anybody, there's nothing more greater than representation in the game, like being represented in a game. It's just one of those things where it's like it's like wow, like this is good. Like, I love it. That, you know what game did that for me, PTK? Just a little off topic, a little bit here. Miles Morales.
Oh, that game Yep.
The whole New York, Harlem, Puerto Rico, the Puerto Rican family eating the salsa and adobo. That was like, that was wow. Okay, they did that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I digress.
No, for real, I agree, and it's just really really cool to see that space is so unique. And it's just been killer. And we can go over this all day, but let's go ahead and throw this over to you. We'll start with you again on this one, Fuzz. You've talked about the Gunk. We've talked about it. It did go away for a little while. I know you mentioned you were a little up in the air because you wanted to hear more about it and get a release date, get a solid release date. Because like he said, there was a placeholder for a minute. But where you at, just knowing that having a release date, seeing a little bit more about the game, you've been excited this whole time anyway. So
well, The funny thing is now we get to see Sarah Bond a lot more when it comes to anything related with Game Pass or things, coming from Xbox. So that was a nice added deal when they did the unveil on, I guess it was Thunderful or Thunderworld Games or something like that.
Thunderful Games, I believe.
And just it seemed like it was like I wouldn't say a last minute impromptu type of thing, but it was like so short notice. It's like, okay, we're going to have this unveiling. Oh, and the Gunk's going to be there. Oh, okay. Well, let me check it out, because I'm still thinking, well, maybe they're going to say it's delayed, come in January or February or something like that. It's like, oh no, it's coming December. The what? The 16th? It's like, okay, so that made my day, or made the rest of the year for me, knowing that that's going to be before the end of the year. It's going to give enough breathing room for me to at least get fairly decent way along in the Halo campaign and stuff like that. And then I'll have a game like this to kind of finish out the year type of deal. So it was awesome to hear something about it, and that it's still coming out this year. Unfortunately scoring got bumped back, but if it has to cook some more, let it cook some more. And, that'll be a nice, game for the early part of next year. But, yeah, I've been definitely looking forward to this. Like, just anything that's like, I guess it was like there was another Planet game where the guy, I think, eventually went to work for Stadia. That one was kind of cool as well, where it was like you're dropped on this planet and you're exploring, but you're trying not to die from all the alien creatures. Well, this one you're kind of exploring and clearing out like this stuff that's corrupting the plant life and animals and things like that on the planet. So it's definitely going to be a cool sci-fi exploring game that I've been looking for ever since they showed it at, I guess it was the
last
Xbox
year
game.
Yeah, it was a showcase, I think.
Yeah, like 2 years ago. So I'm glad it's coming out this year. Can't wait.
Oh, absolutely. And it's one of them things where it's kind of a game you saw during the showcase. I believe it was during one of the indie highlight reels that we saw the first trailer from it, but it stood out for me as soon as I saw it. Like, this looks like a game like Sensei said, screams exploration. I don't know exactly the story. I mean, they did give us a little bit of a more backstory as far as the character. And I know we got a little bit more of that, but I just want to see more levels, just kind of more what it is. But it looks so charming. It's just like a charming game you can dive into. Looks like there's a clear objective. The world looks beautiful graphically, even it looks pretty. But we're gonna go ahead and get this over to you, Centurion, get your opinion on Gunk. Is this something you were looking forward to? We've talked about it a little bit here and there. It hasn't come up much, and it's kind of flew under the radar. But where's it at for you, Centurion?
At first, this game wasn't really, at least the first time I saw this game, I wasn't like, oh my God, I got to play this. And then I experienced Psychonauts 2, which completely changed my life when it came to playing games from smaller developers, which has made me really reconsider what I have thought about the Gunk. I've went back and watched the trailers. At this point, I am wanting to really try this game out. I am wanting to check it out.
Game Pass too, so
Excuse me?
I said Game Pass, day and date. So
Oh, right. But to kind of go deeper into it, I watched a feature on the developer, and they did SteamWorld Dig. Most of the games that this developer has done is more like a 2D style. Oh my God, Metrovania or something. Or basically, what'd you say?
Yeah, Metrovania is the term.
Yeah, Metrovania style 2D adventure, and this is them taking a deep dive into a 3D world that they're creating. And I mean, just look at how amazing the game looks. You have those instances where the whole thing is just covered in this black, dark gunk, and you see her basically take that away, and it opens up these doorways into the world, and you see this vast open world with very beautiful colors, very detailed environments. I've watched a little bit on the gameplay when it comes to how the characters and the stories are going to work. This game looks right up my alley for what I'm looking for in a game, and I feel that it's actually really tragic on me to be hanging out at the bushes at first going like, I don't think I'm gonna like that. And now that I've really, really reconsidered that thought, I'm looking forward to this game. It's definitely going to be another tip to that, another feather in the cap, as it said, for Xbox, for Game Pass. This is also just honestly more of what entertainment needs when it comes to gaming, and definitely I'm looking forward to this title.
Oh, absolutely. And I want to get back to you, Sensei, before we get to Pong on this one. I got a little Recore vibe. Like, I'm not gonna lie, a little bit. It's not a lot, but I got a little, because Recore was a lot about exploration. I get the gadgets and how to utilize the gadgets to get certain places. There was some it had a little bit of a platformy kind of vibe to it too, getting to the different objectives and things like that. So did you get any of that, or am I tripping?
No, you're not tripping. That's it. You hit it again right on the nose. When I see this last video they put up, that vibe happened. The whole recore, because I'm all about it. I'm all about recore. A lot of people just now got into the whole recore, because early in the year, but it's been one of my games for quite some time. But it did give me that recore vibe. Another little vibe it gave me, weird, but I don't know if you remember the game Enslaved.
I do. Yeah, I remember
like that kind of thing where like it's not just like the platforming, it's not just open world, exploration, but the platforming side of things, the puzzly side of things, is what's screaming play me to me. I keep saying that, but I just cannot wait. I know it's what a little over a month away, and I'm excited for it. Like I'm literally excited for it. And I was never a big fan of indie games. I would admit. Very embarrassing. So I wasn't a big fan. It was all AAA. That's it. Go home, go big or go home for me. And every time my buddies introduce me something small, I'm going, I'm not good. I'll move on. I'm not doing that. That's not my thing. But again, thanks to Game Pass, I now play these little smaller games. And I'm finding myself having hours of fun with it.
Oh, dude.
The Gunk is gonna be that, man. It's just, I played Biomutant for months before I moved on from it. And this is gonna be that for me.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So let's go and get this over to Pong and Pong. This is, what are you, goddamn Miss Cleo? I think you might be, right? This is exactly what you've been talking about as far as this is just this. I think this is going to be another one of those just gems that drops in the Game Pass, and everybody's like, wait a minute, this is another good goddamn game and being made by another small dev team. But just kind of what's your opinion on the Gunk? I know you've mentioned this game before as well.
Yeah.
It went dark a little bit. We didn't get to hear much from it. Then we finally got some new info. So where you at?
Oh yeah, I'm excited to play this game. Image and form from the creators of SteamWorld Dig, like Centurion brought up, is again, I love SteamWorld Dig. So them transitioning to a much bigger project, I'm happy for this. We talk about this so often, PTK, and that I love seeing studios that are up and coming, and they keep trying to push themselves and get a little bit better each time. And kind of expand their horizons, and they are definitely doing that with this game. Whether this turns out to be a big deal, a big hit or not, it doesn't matter. This is the type of game that Game Pass needs, right? This is a third-person, over-the-shoulder, narrative-driven action-adventure game, okay? No, it's not the AAA heavy hitter that everybody's looking for all the dang time, but guess what? You're finally getting one of those into Game Pass. Is there going to be
box pushing?
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? There might be. There might be box pushing. But and from this last trailer, there's some crafting to this. There's some puzzle solving. It's a survival type game as well with the exploration. By the way, Fuzzy, Journey to the Savage Planet, I think, is the one that you were thinking about.
Yes. I played the hell out of that game.
Yeah,
my wife loved it.
Yeah, that's what I've used to describe the Gunk when I first saw it too. When she gets out of the dark area and she gets into the world and where it's all cleaned up or where it hasn't been infected yet. The colors and the imagery is a lot like Journey to the Savage Planet, which is a fantastic game. People should not sleep on that game. It was in Game Pass forever, but it's worth the buy. It's been on sale a bunch of times.
It's a really good game.
It is. It really is. So yeah, I think this is going to give us a nice bite-size piece of really well-designed pie. And I think that this is going to come out and be quality. Again, is it going to be the biggest hit? Probably not, because it, again, is a smaller title. It's not everybody's cup of tea due to the artistic style, even though I absolutely love it. But I think with it being in Game Pass, a lot of people are going to try it. And like Sensei said, he's found so many games, and I think we all here on this panel for sure can attest that we've all found games that we never would have played or bought in the past because we just didn't know if we were going to like them or not. But I think a lot of people are going to have the opportunity to pick this game up in Game Pass, try it out, and I think we are going to find some people who are now big fans of image and form. Everything I've seen from this game, it gets better each time they've shown it. I'm really interested to see where this leads to. If this game does do very well, I can't wait to see their next game. Again, these smaller studios coming up, having the ability, having the accessibility to the same types of development tools and kits that the big big dogs all do is really paying off. In this generation, we are going to see it more and more and more, where those lines are blurred. Again, I'm not expecting this to be some 40-hour adventure or 30-hour adventure or anything like that. But if they give us a solid 5 to 10 hour romp through these different planets with some puzzling aspects and survival aspects and a really good story between the two, these two scavengers, I can't wait. I think this definitely is going to be one of those titles that everybody just has sitting there and go and kind of relax after they get done with Halo, after they get done with Battlefield or Forza or whatever they're playing, and just kind of sit back and chill out and kind of a palate cleanser per se. And I'm hyped. I can't wait.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's funny because, just to be honest here before we wrap this topic up, I use my wife as a barometer for like how good a game actually is, because I realize watching her play, I'm actually extremely biased. Like she's a real gamer because she literally plays anything. She literally plays anything and will try it. Like she'll give anything a chance. She's a real gamer. I'm kind of a fraud, like compared to her. So I use her as a barometer, and she likes the Gunk. And I'm like, okay, so this is if she likes this game, I'm more than likely going to enjoy it.
Right.
Because she'll try anything. And she was really excited when she saw the trailer. The new one came out, saw that. So I just think that, like, once again, this is another game that's just these small indie devs and ID at Xbox program devs are killing it. And this is exactly what we were talking about. And I wholeheartedly agree with Pong about that line being blurred. This is going to be something that you see consistently going forward. We're not going to have these lapses where we don't have games to play. And even if they're not AAA games, the experience is going to be on that level. We're not going to really be missing anything. We went through this last summer and nobody complained about not having games to play. Usually there's a lull between like E3 and then right after that, we get that little lull. We didn't have that this year. We had people complaining there was too much to play. So
the lulls are over, PTK, from here on out.
I literally said this past week. I said this to on one of my things. I said, you remember when there was a time where we literally had the dry spell, the in-between, where there was no games and we had to wait for E3 to come for those games to be shown off, and then dates, and then we have to wait for Christmas time. Like, that's no longer. Like, we've had games. Now we're complaining about backlog. Like, we have games behind games behind games. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. 100% agree. So let's go ahead and move on to the last topic, man. Shout out to everybody in chat, man. I see you only at Xbox. Spooky Sprocket falling in here, man. Hit the like button on your way in. Support the channel if you appreciate us here, man. Kick your feet up, man. But we're going to be moving on to the last topic. So this one actually showed up last minute during this week. And this is we're going to Speculation Town. We visit this place very often, Sensei, by the way. You can come along any point in time. There's always plenty of room. Matter of fact, I think, didn't you guys install like a transit in the? Aren't you guys got plans for like a transit system or something there?
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, we're expanding, of course.
Oh,
of course, because Speculation Town is getting very huge. We've got a actual waiting list for tours to get into Speculation Town at this point. Even the people who used to hate Speculation Town have now started to actually drop on in, take a look around. We've got some beautiful attractions. One of the biggest draws is the conspiracy theory attraction.
That's
so,
my favorite.
we are definitely a growing town. That's for sure.
I saw a billboard the other day that showed Speculation Town real estate prices, saying that houses were starting at a very low price.
Yeah, that's right. And that billboard
actually
has Mr. Boomstick and Mav and myself with our big cheesy smiles and our big thumbs up. That's how we're promoting the town from now on.
Oh, absolutely, man. It's
while
utopia.
you're there, have the Kool-Aid. It's awesome.
And we've got unicorn rides coming. So everybody just
what are you talking about?
Be
when
on
you
the lookout
move
for
in
that.
the neighborhood, they show up at your door with the Kool-Aid. Like, here, we just wanted to welcome you to the community.
too much, but no. Let's go ahead and start with you on this one. We're talking a little bit about Compulsion Games, and shout out to Windows Central. Shout out to Jez Corden. He put out an article and he got some information. Now, once again, we don't run too far with these things, but Jez is a very, very reputable source. He gets a lot of information. A lot of the stuff he talks about, he has a lot of insight on it. So we tend to kind of lean towards Windows Central. We give them benefit of the doubt. Shout out Jez. But he got some very, 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 very tender morsels about this new game Compulsion is going to be making. I immediately, once I saw like the concept art, I immediately got like like Southern, just I don't know, BioShock in Louisiana. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know the kind of vibes I got. Now I want to go with this. I'm gonna start with you on this one, Sensei. One, did you see the article? Did you read it? Two, what do you think about this game? Because once again, I'm gonna bring this up. This is when they asked Phil about like what he was excited about. He specifically mentioned what Compulsion Games was working on. He was really excited about. So where you at on the new information regarding the game?
I have not deep dive. I mean, I've skimmed it. I haven't deep dived the article. I'm still doing that. But from what I gather on what they're creating over there, it's called, I believe it's called Midnight. The code
Midnight
name for the
is
game
code
Midnight.
name. Yep, Midnight.
Yeah. Very southern like kind of a game. I'm loving the fact that once again we're getting a person of color as a main character in the game.
Facts.
I'm loving that Phil is embracing this kind of like going forward, this culture, this let's try something different kind of point of view. And that he's encouraging that, and I love that. And Compulsion Games is that, man, if you haven't played with Happy Few, you're missing out on a great game. Guys those guys over there are great at what they do. I have not really deep dived into it, so I really can't speak much on it. I apologize for that, guys.
Oh, no, it's okay. It's okay.
But it's Compulsion Games. I know their track record, and I know whatever they're working on, it's gonna be great.
Oh, absolutely. It just, I mean, some of the information, I don't have it written down here. I wish I did. You guys can go ahead and check it out. Once again, that was Windows Central. Go look at it there, man. It was a bunch of little tidbits, and it just got me so excited because we've heard so much about this game. We know Compulsion has been ramping up. They stopped working on We Happy Few years ago to move on to this particular project. We've been hearing little tidbits about it. We know they're hiring like crazy. The studio's grown like crazy. But to get this information, and we know it's gonna be this third, I believe, third person or a narrative driven, story driven.
Did we lose PTK?
I think so.
I think this is the part of the podcast where
I just want to put it out there. This is, I didn't do it.
It got me really excited. We're gonna go ahead and throw this.
He is there.
He's barely there. No, you're barely. You cut out for like about 10 seconds, 15 seconds there where we didn't hear anything.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So no, go ahead, Sensei. Oh, not Sensei, but
no. I was just gonna
go ahead, Pong.
with my bassy voice.
go ahead, Pong. It's on you, brother.
Yeah. So as far as this goes, yeah, this is what one of the developers I've been waiting to see what they're working on, because this game, whatever it was pitched to Phil, was one of the ones that he was extremely excited about. You got, Compulsion is a relatively new developer. When you look at their history, they haven't put out a whole lot of games, right? So for them to get acquired, and then have the opportunity, because of whatever they pitched was so good, that Phil said, go ahead, expand, go ahead, get yourself a new studio and get to work. That means, to me at least, that means that it was very impressive, because that's not something you normally would do with a team that has yet to, like, they've done some really, really good stuff. But it's never been a complete package on most of their games. So for them to make that commitment, them being Xbox, to make them the commitment to Compulsion, to go ahead and let them run with this title and do what they needed to do to get up to speed, that says everything I need to know about it. These little tidbits that are coming out, absolutely fantastic. I mean, again, third person, over the shoulder, action, narrative driven type game with Compulsion's writing, which I do love their writing. We Happy Few had some very poignant stuff to it. Now, not everybody liked it. Not everybody liked the mechanics. They changed the game kind of midway through development. Didn't have the time and resources necessary to make it the way that they really wanted to. So it came out and a lot of people just went, meh, whatever. If you really play that game and dig in and listen to what the people are saying, the dialogue, the kind of overtones that are created by Compulsion, it is really deep. And it's something that I think now with this opportunity that they have to go show the world what they're made of. All right, to kind of say, hey, here we are. We know you guys have known about us, but we've done these kind of games that haven't really hit all the way. This is our first one. This is the one where we get to express ourselves. We've got no worries. We're taken care of. We're underneath the Xbox umbrella. We're not pressured by finances. We're not thinking about what happens to the studio if our next title fails. All that stuff that we've heard other people, as high up as Tim Schafer talk about with Double Fine. This team could really shine. And so, this latest round of information, love the setting. If it truly is the Southern setting, the Louisiana style mixed with some BioShock. Look, BioShock's one of my all-time goats. Okay, BioShock 1 to me is one of a handful of games that are probably perfect 10s at the end of the day. So if they can nail what they did in We Happy Few, expand upon all the good things that they did there. And what's crazy to me is every time we talk about all these studios, there's always studios that we forget about. And Compulsion's one of them, just because they're not household names, right? But if you go look at their past work, most of the studios that have been acquired, again, outside, but even all the big ones. But I'm just saying, if you look at the smaller to medium-sized studios that were acquired by Xbox, there's one thing about all of them, and that is their writing is top-notch. And again, you look across the board, your Arcanes, your In Exiles, your Obsidians, your Bethesdas, you've got some of the best writing talent studio-wise in the world, all underneath one umbrella. And now if Compulsion can pull it together, and again, from what I personally feel from playing their games, if they can deliver on that and they are what I think they are, you're going to be talking about Compulsion down the road after they launch this game going, man, we should have seen this coming. Holy cow. Xbox is even richer than we thought, right? They even have more talent than we thought, because the studio that probably is close to the bottom when it comes to the top of people's minds, and that's no slight on them. It's just that they are a younger development house and have not had that big hit yet. That team there just showed up with first time that they've been given all this freedom, all this opportunity, all these resources to do something. They show up with something that winds up being memorable. Man, oh man, that's just a cherry on top of everything else that Phil and his team have done to get all of this talent inside the Microsoft house. And for me, that is going to be an awesome time. Again, just talked about it with the Gunk. Love up-and-coming studios. Love studios that have worked together and grown together. Yeah, you're always going to have to bring in more people from the outside, but the studio, for the most part, the core of the studio has been together now for, I think it's about 6 years, I want to say, 7 years. And they are growing together, and to watch them flourish and to finally get their spotlight that they've probably been deserving, just haven't really had the chance to do, but now underneath Xbox are given that chance. That is what I love to see. So I can't wait for this game. Midnight, whatever the real name turns out to be, I think we're going to see it at some point soon. They've been working on it for quite some time now. I think next year, whether E3 or something, this might be one of those surprise games that shows up, right? And all of a sudden we get to see what they've been putting all this blood, sweat, and tears into. But yeah, this is going to be something. This is one to keep your eye on for sure. Again, it caught Phil's eye very early. Nobody expected it to happen. Nobody expected when Compulsion was acquired. A lot of people scratched their heads at what Microsoft was doing, what Xbox was doing, acquiring them just because they weren't a household name. This is going to be a cool story at the end of the day, both in the game and about Compulsion themselves. I have a feeling that we're getting that fairy tale ending on this one.
Oh yeah, and it's very similar to Psychonauts and the whole Double Fine situation where people didn't realize. People just felt like that was a throw-in. When we got that announcement, people felt, oh, those are just throw-in. We'll see what happens. But that could end up being the gems, at the end of the day. And you realize they have more. Xbox has more bullets in the chamber than you realize. They're loaded. They are loaded over there.
Double Fine. Double Fine is crazy because everybody knows who Tim Schafer is. Everybody who's an old time gamer has probably played at least one of his games in their lifetime, right? And everybody knew them to be some of the best storytelling one of the best storytelling studios out there. Tim Schafer is so creative, it's crazy, and people always go, man, his games are like being on drugs sometimes, and that's true. But they were such a niche group because they were a paycheck to paycheck studio, right? They never were given that opportunity, and look what they did with Psychonauts. Took it from a Kickstarter to being acquired to making one of the best games of 2021. Game of the year contender.
Shout out to Brutal Legends.
Yeah, Brutal Legend. Absolutely. Need a number 2. Maybe that's coming down the pipeline. But yes, you're absolutely right, PTK. Again, all these little studios that people thought were kind of throwaway studios or just, oh, that's a cute little buy or whatever the case may be, don't know really why they did it, are actually going to wind up paying big dividends, especially when it comes to Game Pass and what needs to be in there for that diversity of lineup.
Oh, absolutely. 100% agree. Let's go ahead and get this over to you, Centurion. Get your opinion just on where you at on this, man, as far as this new information regarding this game and, Compulsions. We've been hearing about this, so just kind of where you at on it.
Well, let's build off what Pong was saying about, these purchases that Microsoft has been getting. We've seen the word organic thrown around a lot, especially apparently on how Microsoft just buys whatever they want. But I never looked at it like that. I like how Microsoft, in my opinion, has gone around buying smaller developers, bringing them into the fold, cultivating them and helping them grow and helping them become bigger and better versions of themselves, which is what we should all strive to be in the end. And I'm really excited about what I saw, what Jez put out. I mean, from just 3 simple photos, the houses on top of the trees, the main protagonist, and then there's this Valkyrie looking creature that had like the 3 phases of the evolution of like how this creature is going to evolve. I'm completely intrigued in this game. I feel like you hit the nail correctly on the head by bringing up that Louisiana Southern roots style of storytelling, especially with all the culture that's over there in Louisiana, especially with like the stuff that goes down in New Orleans. I'm very intrigued by this game, and I couldn't be more excited for Compulsion Games. I still have We Happy Few in my backlog, but from what I've seen of the game, I've watched videos on. So for me, I'm very OCD. I just don't go randomly buy games that I'm not sure about. I watched video after video after video about We Happy Few, and I was like, this looks like something I'm going to enjoy. I just got to find the time to get to it. But I'm excited for what Compulsion Games is doing. I'm excited for what Microsoft is doing with their developers and helping them grow. And, to kind of champion what Pong said earlier, this is with Microsoft helping companies like this grow into bigger developers. It benefits us all as gamers because it creates competition. It creates ingenuity. We're going to see bigger and better games come out as a result of this. And this is just the start. Look at with Undead Labs. I hope with now Undead Labs being under Microsoft's umbrella, we're going to see a very large version, a much more crafted and quality version of State of Decay 2. I enjoyed State of Decay 1. I enjoyed State of Decay 2. And I think State of Decay 3 is going to also knock it out of the park. And, I'm just going back to Compulsion. I've always heard rumblings about Compulsion working on something really great. Invader over at the TXR podcast has always been talking to me about Compulsion Games and what they got going on over there, and to keep my eye on them because they are making something. And now this comes out, and I'm just totally ready to see exactly what they're crafting because just from 3 simple photos, I need to know more.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. Just from the art style and it's just enough intrigue to keep you hooked. You know what I'm saying? And once again, I know people, some person got at me as far as on Twitter about kind of using that feel, saying, "Oh, well, that doesn't guarantee the game's going to be good." No, but what that does guarantee is that the guy who signs off on these games like what he sees. right? So that that's what that guarantees. I mean, it doesn't guarantee that we're all going to enjoy the game because we all have very distinct styles and everybody's different. But Phil likes it. That's good for me generally. I mean, that means he sees something in the game, he sees something in the studio that he really enjoys, and he said this specifically. And obviously, I'm gonna defer to him on this, but go ahead. We'll get to you, Fuzz, before we go ahead and wrap this thing up, man. But this is something we've been talking about for a while. We've talked about Compulsion, and you mentioned multiple times on the show that Phil's super excited about this. So now that we got a little bit of new info, where are you at on this?
Well, I'm still fingers crossed, hoping that we might get to see some more at the Video Game Awards.
Oh, see, here you go. I knew you were gonna say that.
Like I still am under the impression with the buzz that's been going on that we'll see some more of Hellblade 2. But this is the one I really want to see something of, because like we've heard that it's going to be, third person, over the shoulder, story driven narrative type of deal, which is great because there's a lot of people that have been asking for just one, something similar to what the PlayStation studios have offered. And I think this is going to be not necessarily a direct response, because Hellblade's going to also be that third person over the shoulder story driven narrative. But I wanted to see what Compulsion would do, because that game kind of hooked me from get go. Whenever you're supposed to take medication to see something, and you don't take the medication, and it's a completely different vantage point or viewing of something, like things aren't always what they seem, and to go that extra mile to kind of show how the wool is being pulled over your eyes type of deal was kind of an interesting concept. And I'm very interested to see what they're going to do as far as the story for Codename Midnight. So I've always wondered what that game would have been like had Microsoft acquired them earlier. Like, we've seen how Microsoft being able to help a studio reach their vision, like with Double Fine, like boss fights were not going to be part of that game had they not been acquired by Microsoft. So Microsoft funding allowed for them to, fully flesh out that vision that they initially had with the boss fights, just so they can, get the game the way that they originally, or release the game the way they wanted. So having that same thing apply to Compulsion, I'm anxious to see what that entails, because I don't know if, for anyone that has paid attention to the development of We Happy Few when it was in early preview, it was originally going to be a survival game that they, like Pong was saying earlier, they had to change midstream before full release. So seeing a dev having to make compromises or changes to their initial vision, and that, I won't say that's why it wasn't as well received, but that definitely can hurt its I guess its acceptance as far as for gamers, because it feels like it may be either a mixed message or just a change in the wrong direction. But something from get go where it's like, okay, what are the resources you need? All right, they're all available to you, and then some. I'm looking forward to seeing what they turn this into. But I'm fingers crossed. The Video Game Awards are not too far from now, and maybe, just maybe, on a hope and a dream, or wish and a dream, we'll get to see some of this. Like an early peek at this game, kind of like the way we did with Hellblade 2, like almost 2 years ago. So that's all I got for now. Just real excited for it.
No, same here. And I think, once again, it's another game that we need to look out for. Phil was excited for it. We've been talking about it on this show. We try and make sure, I don't know if you can tell, Sensei, we try and make sure we highlight, these smaller devs as well, and some of these other games that are being made, because this has been a fantastic run. And this has been a great
that.
Oh, no. Oh, absolutely. We damn sure make sure we want to highlight great games here, no matter what size the developer is. And I'm just super excited because, once again, I had no idea what they were planning on doing. I knew the pedigree. I knew that, We Happy Few wasn't super well received, but I knew what they were trying to do with it. And I saw the vision, and it had me excited. So seeing a little bit more about this game has me super excited, man. But that's actually it. I think we're going to go ahead and wrap the show up on that one, man. We're actually wrapping it up a little bit early today. This is actually kind of weird because the show usually used to be about this long. But either way, guys, Man, I appreciate you guys watching. The show was fantastic. We're gonna go ahead and go around a panel here. We're gonna start with our guest of the hour here, Sensei. Man, we had a fantastic time, brother. If you're coming in now back, you're gonna have to run it back, man. We're actually wrapping this thing up. They're not used to it. They're used to us being here 2.5 hours.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
No, it's all good, man. Today's show was phenomenal. But once again, Sensei, let everybody know where they can find you, man. We appreciate you hanging out with us, man. I hope you enjoyed yourself on the show, man. You're always gonna be invited back, man. And let everybody know where they can find you.
I definitely did enjoy myself. I don't think I'm logging off once it goes off air. I'm gonna stay right here to the next week. I'm not going anywhere. In fact, I'm probably canceling my show tomorrow. I'm here.
Stop it.
No, seriously, thank you guys for the invite. I'm humbled by the like just reaching out to me and asking for me to get on. You not only asked me to get on, but you watch my content. That to me is an honor.
Oh yeah.
I pride myself in good quality content over at my channel. If you guys don't know, I have a OnlyFans channel, is what I'm talking about. No, I'm playing. No, I have people, you guys can find me. My name is Sensei Kills on Twitter. I'm very active on Twitter. I will blow up your timeline. In fact, you'll probably put me on mute. Most people do anyways. And then you have my YouTube channel, which has my podcast every single Sunday with my lovely co-host, the best in the business, Logic. He's there with me co-hosting. It's just two of us, smaller podcast. We talk about Xbox. We're Xbox centric, and we celebrate gamers and Xbox itself. It's what we do every single Sunday live at 5 p.m. Eastern time, as well as extra content on my channel. I do spotlight the community. I do interviews the community that can last anywhere between a half hour, an hour. I recently just interviewed Tim Dog.
Shout out to Tim.
Shout out to Tim, biggest Xbox fan there is, man. Love that guy. And then I did Mr. Chivalry, one of the Twitter personalities on Twitter. The dude is a great guy. I met him yesterday. I met him through his interview. I premiered that yesterday. Check out my content, guys. If you don't mind, subscribe to the channel. Show some love to smaller content creators. But that's where you'll find me at. Hopefully, there's a future for me to come back on the show because I thoroughly enjoyed myself. And yes, guys, Pong Soul looks absolutely gorgeous up front, man.
Oh my
Jeez,
God, we do not need Pong.
Look at this. Look at this.
The cash app, man.
Can he be a permanent member on this panel?
Look, man, this is not.
Hey, he has a lot of Forza content. I'm down for
my!
it.
See?
Every week Pong does this. Somehow he does this to me. He's building his case and renegotiate his contract every week.
Appreciate it, Sensei. Thank you.
Yeah, no, but appreciate you. Yeah, appreciate you. Appreciate you, Sensei, as well, man. Once again, man. You're no longer a guest here, so you might get a random DM from me saying, "Hey, man, you're busy this week, so you're always going to be invited here." We appreciate having you on the show. I'm sure chat did as well. I'm glad you had a great time as well, buddy. But let's go ahead and once again, chat, please go show some love. If you're a fan of this show, please go show some love to everything he has going on. Follow his Twitter account. I'm sure that's the easiest way to keep up with everything he has going on, and you can find it all in one place. But we appreciate you, brother, man. We'll definitely welcome to have you back at any point in time, brother. So let's go ahead and throw this over to you, Pong. Tell the people where they can find you at, brother, if they don't know already.
Yeah, absolutely, of course. Hey, Sensei, expect a invite from me each week, so don't worry about it. If PTK is not hitting you up, I will be. So don't worry about it. No, man, what a great show, brothers. This was awesome. I'm glad I didn't miss it due to the time change. I'm glad I looked. I was like, whoa, wait a minute here. Is this really an hour? Okay, so I'm glad I made it. Sensei, awesome thoughts. Like I said, man, love your take on things. Great to have you here, brother, for sure. Glad I got to finally podcast with you. So nothing but continued success to you and everything you got going on over there. Everybody do go check out his content and do follow him on Twitter. He does do a lot there. So it is awesome. But yeah, PTK, Satruday on Fuzz. It was awesome, brothers, as always, to be here. Love coming in here and to be able to joke around with everybody and just really talk about good things. And PTK, you're killing it with the topics, man. You're killing it. So again, as long as you continue with the poll of the week with one easy answer, which is Starfield each and every week, we good. All right, we're totally good. Listen, everybody, follow me, Pong Soul, Xbox, Twitter. You know the drill. Tuesday is going to be a big show. Whatever happens on Monday, we did get some new information tonight that kind of suggests that they're going to hold off on the Halo early launch on Monday for a bit, but they're still saying November is a possibility. But whatever goes down on Monday, it's going to be big talk on Xbox Factor podcast over on Double Barrel Gaming. Mr. Boomstick, you know him. Everybody does. He's approaching 10K. If you have not checked him out,
Shout
please
out
do
Boom,
so.
man.
Yeah, exactly. Big member of this community, supports everybody. Look, just go check out Boom. That's with Zemi Games. Mav is now permanently a part of the show. Obviously, we got Archimedes, 3-Bit when he's available, myself. Boom brings in people all the time. My brother from another Steel Rain was on a couple weeks ago. So Xbox Factor Podcast, all things Xbox, is a place to be. 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 o'clock Central Time. Thursday nights, PM in the PM, Pong and Mav in the PM over on Fun Speculations channel. Him and I are having a great time. New show. We just got through a third episode. We're going to deep dive 1, 2, maybe 3 topics. Just him and I. If you like the 2-man format that you get from Living Split Screen on Saturdays, come check out PM in the PM. He and I just kick back and talk about whatever big news is happening that week, and we've had a lot lately. So that is at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 o'clock Central Time. Then Friday nights back on Fun Speculations channel. Again, Xbox Ultimate Magnificent 7. Come see us. It's a family atmosphere. We take way left turns during the show. It's a fun time. 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Central Time. Saturday mornings, Living Split Screen. My brother from another Steel Rain and I, every morning we get you ready for the weekend. 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central Time. Living Split Screen, live, raw, and uncut, as Steel likes to say. That's what you get. High energy. Check us out. We're doing big things. We're trying to grow over there. So Living Split Screen Saturday mornings. And then otherwise, I'll see you back here next Saturday night at the new time. Since now PTK has joined the rest of the world and Centurion has joined the rest of the world. We are here at this time from now on. I got to remember to change that time when I talk on other podcasts. Look, it's the golden age of gaming. If you can't tell by everything that's going on right now, I don't know what else to do for you. It's the golden age of gaming. There is so much to enjoy. Get out there, enjoy it, play what you love what you play, and I'm going to talk to you all real soon. Thank you, chat, for being here and supporting us. We love you. Thank you.
Awesome. Appreciate you, man. Once again, follow his Twitter account if you didn't catch all of that. You know, Pong is the battery of the actual podcast, a fantastic figure in the community, always providing energy, man, to the show. Once again, I greatly appreciate you being here, Pong. You're a huge asset to the Shop Podcast, man. But you guys do us a favor, go check everything Pong has going on out down in the description below, man. Let's go ahead and throw this over to you, Centurion. Let everybody know where they can find you as well, brother.
Well, for starters, Pong, the struggle is real, especially like I get my DMs around the time daylight savings time starts and ends from Invader to remind me what time the show starts. I will never forget the day I was literally in the lobby going, "Where's everybody at? Dude, the show starts in an hour." Oh, my bad.
Whoops.
But yes, for those who want to find my content, obviously everybody here knows I do a character called Fanboy. I love to highlight how people act on the internet and definitely give them due praise for some of the obnoxious things that they do. Trying new things with him. We did a video, wasn't too exactly thrilled with how it turned out, so I'm going to be absolutely blunt. Yes, the video did get scrapped. We are starting over from scratch. And that's the fun part about doing YouTube. Sometimes it doesn't always work out. But definitely got a lot of great feedback from people I love, because I did have a little bit of feedback. I showed it to a handful of people, and definitely we got some good direction going on it now. For those who want to stay tuned for that content, please follow me at Centurion1307 on my YouTube channel. I also do other content there as well. You can also find me on Twitter and Xbox Live, also at Centurion1307. Thank you to our guests for being here. Again, love the energy, love the message you push out. I really try to focus my attention on YouTube when it comes to the people I listen to with attitudes like yours. I'll be upfront. I can't go into some of the clickbaity, just negative, drones that love to basically doom and gloom everything. I love when I hear passion. I love when I hear excitement and positivity. And that's what I got from you. So it was really nice to meet you. And you got another follower right here. And thank you to my brothers from another mother right here on the Shop Podcast, where I'm here every Saturday night with these amazing gentlemen. And you could also find me over on the TXR Podcast with the amazing gentlemen over there, like Invader and Shockley and Tim Dog and everybody else. So definitely tune in there.
Appreciate you, man. Every single week, go check out the content. All of that is in the description below, man. And last but not least, your boy Fuzzy Belvedere, moving around, doing some additional podcasts. But let everybody know where they can find you, Fuzz.
Oh, this was awesome. Awesome to have you on here, Sensei. And good to see that you're also a Forza fan. So you got my vote for another appearance as well. Yeah, this talking about games, my favorite hobby. It's always great doing that with you guys. Always look forward to tonight as far as chopping it up with you. For anybody that wants to hear my Forza or Insurgency Sandstorm or even Division or Destiny ramblings, you can follow me on Twitter at fuzzy_Belvedere. You can also catch me on Tidbits with Mav on Fun Speculation channel on Mondays, basically going over the week's game releases, any of the things that may have slipped under the radar that you want to catch or possibly pick up for that week. And you can also catch me on Fun Speculation Podcast at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Fun Speculations channel with Mav and Key. All platform channel. We just did our year in review of all three platforms. C for Nintendo, A- for PlayStation, A just on the hardware for Xbox, with S tier because of Game Pass rolled in there. But definitely check it out for Mav and for Key's review on that. And next Saturday, you can find me here again on the Shop Podcast, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, chopping up with you guys again. My second family. Love being here. Awesome chat. Awesome crew. Just, man, can't wait to get back to Forza. Thank you.
Appreciate it, man. And last but not least, your boy PTK Blam across the board. Follow me on Twitter. All information down in the description below. Poll of the week on Monday. Next week, new guests, man. Appreciate you guys. My DMs are always open. I love feedback. So let me know on Twitter. You can hit me. I don't, usually block or mute anyone. So, feedback on how to make the channel better, on new content, topics, anything you guys want to send me, do please feel free to do that. I love the feedback. So continue to do so. But once again, follow me, PTK Bam, everywhere. Twitter, Xbox, if you want to play some games sometime, usually playing Division or Destiny or something like that. So outside of that, you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. Please be safe. Go sit down, play some games, enjoy your weekend. We'll see you next week, everyone. Peace out.
Later.